Can you imagine being stranded at the airport on Christmas Eve? That's exactly what happened to me. The flight home was canceled. The terminal was a sea of frustration, filled with angry and disappointed travelers. I was devastated, thinking about my family waiting for me, the empty chair at the dinner table. My heart just sank. Looking around, I saw so many others in the same boat. There was a young man, probably a student, looking utterly crushed, staring at his phone. An older woman sat by herself, a quiet sadness in her eyes. It was a scene of collective misery. We were all supposed to be home, surrounded by loved ones, but instead, we were stuck. A bunch of strangers united only by our shared misfortune. The air was thick with sighs and muttered complaints. It felt like the complete opposite of Christmas spirit. Then, a thought struck me, a memory from Sunday school. Jesus wasn't born in a palace, or even in his own home. He was born in a stable, far from familiar surroundings. Because his parents were traveling, he was, in a way, a stranded traveler from the very beginning. This simple realization shifted something inside me. I looked at the young man who missed his family and the elderly lady who seemed so alone, and my own disappointment started to fade, replaced by a wave of empathy. They weren't just random strangers anymore. They were fellow travelers on a difficult journey, just like Mary and Joseph. We were all far from home on this holy night. The noise of the airport seemed to quiet down in my mind, and I felt a strange sense of connection to everyone there. It was a bizarrely profound moment, finding a parallel to the first Christmas in the middle of a chaotic airport terminal. I bowed my head right there, amidst the luggage and the announcements, and whispered a simple prayer. Lord, this is a mess. But you were born into a mess. Please, make this delay, this place, holy. It was a desperate, hopeful plea. When I looked up, I knew I couldn't just sit there wallowing in self-pity. I had to do something. So, I took a deep breath and started to hum Silent Night. It was quiet at first, barely a whisper. A few people glanced over, probably thinking I was crazy. But I kept humming, and then I started to sing the words softly. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. The elderly lady I'd noticed earlier looked up, and a small smile touched her lips. She joined in, her voice a little shaky but clear. Then, the young man who missed his family joined in, too. A family with two tired kids, who had been trying to keep them entertained, started singing along. It was like a ripple effect. One by one, voices joined the chorus. The angry energy in our little corner of the airport began to melt away, replaced by the simple, beautiful melody of a carol. Someone opened a bag of Christmas cookies they'd been saving and started passing them around. I had a bag of trail mix and offered it to the people next to me. A businessman in a sharp suit, who had been furiously typing on his laptop, closed it and pulled out a large bar of chocolate to share. It was incredible. We were no longer just stranded passengers. We were a community, sharing what little we had. We started talking, sharing stories of who we were waiting to see, what traditions we were missing. The frustration was still there, but it was now wrapped in a blanket of shared humanity. The next few hours were magical. The initial group of carolers grew. We sang every Christmas song we could remember, from Jingle Bells to Oh Holy Night. Laughter began to fill the air, genuine and heartfelt. The woman who was alone told us about her late husband and how this was her first Christmas without him. Tears streamed down her face, but this time, they weren't tears of loneliness. We listened, we hugged her, and we cried with her. The young man showed us pictures of his baby niece, who he was supposed to meet for the first time. We all oohed and awed over the photos. We prayed together, a spontaneous, heartfelt prayer for each other, for our families, and for a safe journey home. Strangers became friends. We learned each other's names, our hopes, our worries. The airport terminal transformed from a cold, impersonal space into a sanctuary. It felt more like a church fellowship or a family gathering than a travel nightmare. We weren't just killing time, we were truly connecting. Eventually, an announcement came over the loudspeaker. A new flight was arranged, but it wouldn't be until the next morning. A collective groan went through the airport, but in our little group, it was met with smiles. It meant more time together. We propped our feet up on our suitcases, used backpacks as pillows, and settled in for the night. As midnight struck, we all wished each other a Merry Christmas. And you know what? It was the most meaningful, most powerful Christmas Eve I have ever experienced. It wasn't about the presents under the tree or the perfectly cooked dinner. It was about finding light in the darkness, finding family in a group of strangers, and finding the true spirit of Christmas in the most unexpected of places. That night, under the fluorescent lights of the airport, became our holy night. We found peace not because our situation was fixed, but because our perspective had changed. So what's the takeaway from my crazy Christmas Eve? It's a reminder that Jesus himself was born as a traveler, far from home. His journey started in an unconventional, unexpected place. So when our own plans get delayed, when our journeys take a detour, maybe it's not a disaster. Maybe it's an invitation. An invitation to find peace right where we are, not just where we want to be. It's a chance to see the people around us not as inconveniences, but as fellow travelers who might need a kind word, a shared snack, or a song. This Christmas, and anytime you find yourself delayed or detoured, I encourage you to look around. Ask God to help you see the opportunity for connection, for love. You never know. Your biggest inconvenience might just turn into your most beautiful memory. Hope can be found anywhere, because God is with us everywhere. Thanks for listening to my story. Merry Christmas! And may you find peace on your journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories of hope.